So if you're looking for a mid-size 3-row SUV, there are so many choices. There's Honda Pilot, there's new Jeep Grand Cherokee L, there is the Toyota Highlander, or there is this, which is the Kia Telluride, and this has been a massive success for Kia. So for 2022, we're gonna show you guys all the small changes that they made because this is already such a good vehicle. But before we jump in, be sure to subscribe to CarGurus.com. Let's go ahead and get started. Now this is the SX V6 all-wheel drive trim, which is pretty much the top level trim, and this has the Nightfall package, which is going to give you blacked out letters, blacked out grille. You're gonna have dark headlight housings, and of course, everything else that would have been silver is now black. I do have two questions for you guys though. First of all, for 2022, one of the updates is the new logo. So my first question would be, do you like this logo? My second question would be, should this be blacked out as well? Because on the previous year model with the old logo, it was blacked out. So I'm very curious why they didn't do it with this logo. Continuing with the Nightfall package, you have these dark 20-inch wheels I think look really good. Of course, you are going to have dark trim around your windows, your roof rails are going to be blacked out, and you're also going to have black accents underneath your mirror. Now, I think it contrasts so well against this glacier pearl paint, and you can actually see a lot of the flake in the paint coat, which looks incredible. On top of that, it's still just a good looking SUV. I think Kia knocks it out of the park with the styling. It's very boxy, strong, prominent lines, and the side profile is one of my favorite angles of this vehicle. Now coming to the back, this is the more unique angle because of these taillights. They look very concept car-like. You're gonna have your blacked out Telluride badge, blacked out all-wheel drive badge. The rear badge is not blacked out, which once again, I think it should be. Surprisingly, my camera guy Phil thinks just the back badge should be blacked out and the front badge should be silver. Comment below if you think that's weird or not. I do. Right down here, you are going to have these dual exhaust tips, which I do like the squared off design. It really fits the aesthetic back here. And then of course, this has the towing package, which allows the Telluride to tow 5,000 pounds. And this also has self-leveling whenever you put a load in the back. That way you don't have the sort of saggy bottom whenever you're towing. Now, under the hood of every Telluride, you're going to have a 3.8 liter naturally aspirated V6, 291 horsepower, 262 pound-feet of torque. Because this is all-wheel drive, this is going to get about 19 city, 24 highway, about 21 combined, and this is hooked up to an 8-speed automatic transmission. So for 2022, there are basically no changes to the top-of-the-line SX V6. Most of your changes are on lower-level trims. This bigger screen is now going to come standard on those trim levels. Other than that, it's the same incredible cabin. You've got these really nice, very comfortable, soft seats. They're heated and ventilated. You're going to have this nice wood trim, which is fake, but it looks very, very convincing. All of your aluminum trim here. I love these built-in grab handles, very sturdy. You're going to have your ventilated and heated seats on top of there with this little rocker switch. You're going to have this area here I can use to go into things like sport mode, eco mode. You have a center lock here, which is super handy for if you're in mud, snow, and you just need consistent power going to all 4 wheels. That's a nice way to do it. Cup holders are very large, lots of storage space in here. You're going to have a USB, another USB hidden under this little flap, and a wireless charging pad. Now, this does not have wireless CarPlay, so you won't be able to really utilize your charging pad if you want to hook into CarPlay. You'll just have to let it charge through the cable. Now, other than that, you're going to have heated steering wheel, all of your dual zone climate control. This screen responds very, very quickly. Very nice touchscreen. I love how they have slightly improved that. You're going to have things like your passenger talk. So if I hit this, I can basically talk through here and speak to the kids in the back, which is very nice. You don't have to yell to the back of the car. You also have a quiet mode, which will basically act as a fader, only allow the front speakers to play music, and it drops it to about a 7 in terms of volume. So that is nice if you have kids sleeping in the back. Other than that, steering wheel is nice. You have the updated logo here. This does have full adaptive cruise control. I do wish this had digital gauge clusters, but I guess that's maybe why you would go to something like a Hyundai Palisade instead. You're going to have a head-up display and then of course a Harman Kardon sound system to really take advantage of the quietness you get from the double pane windows. Now in the second row, you also have a very good amount of amenities. Now I can recline this seat, which is pretty nice. Pretty far recline angle too. I can move this forward and backwards if I need to. You have heated and ventilated seats in the second row. You're going to have this sunscreen shade, which is nice for children, or it's nice for keeping glare off of your devices. And I can also utilize this USB port on the side of the seat to charge my phone, as well as use this little phone pocket down here, which is pretty cool. You have 2 cup holders back here, as well as a 150-watt 115-volt plug right there. So if I had something like a laptop, I can technically charge it right there. And you're also going to have a little hook right here so you can hang things like purses, a backpack. Maybe if you went shopping, you can hang your shopping bags there. My own climate control right up here, LED lights, my own vents, and of course your own moonroof. Now sitting in the third row, you do have a few amenities like cup holders, USB. You've got pretty large windows so you don't feel very claustrophobic back here. You're going to have your vents, you're gonna have a light, and you have this really nice suede headliner, which of course you have all throughout the vehicle. But this isn't an afterthought third row. So if I scoot this all the way back, I'm about 6 feet tall for reference, and I click that back. So my knees are touching, but thankfully I can pull this strap, recline, and then I'm able to create a little bit of distance right here, so I can actually slide my fingers through now. Once again, if you're under 6 feet, you should actually be able to fit back here and have some sort of room, which is pretty nice and can't be said for most mid-size 3-row SUVs. So in terms of trunk space, this has some of the best, if not the best, cargo capacity in the segment. It's for sure better than Honda Pilot and Toyota Highlander. So you have 21 cubic feet behind the third row. I can also fold down this third row, get a little bit more room. And if you fold down the second row, you have a max of about 87 cubic feet, which is pretty enormous. One overlooked detail that this has, I can get these seat belts, which would normally flop here, slot it right in here, and you also have an area that I can go to and stick my actual seatbelt in there. And you can do that for the second and third row seatbelts. Kind of keeps seatbelts off to the side. That way they're not flapping around, making a lot of noise. You are going to have storage space under here as well. Your jack assembly is off to the side. And of course, you have an adjustable tailgate. So driving the 2022 Kia Telluride. Now the drive experience has not changed, and that's a good thing. This has great sound deadening. The dampening in here makes for a very comfortable ride, and everything is very responsive. This engine, even though it may seem a little down on power, this is a great transmission, and that really does a great job of extracting all that power in the best possible way. So it seems to always be in the right gear, even in comfort mode. It just gives me the right amount of power that I need, and this engine is definitely adequate for this vehicle. It's not too much power, it's definitely not underpowered. So I think Kia did a great job with this transmission and engine combination. Now in terms of ergonomics and visibility, everything is right within reach. I love these toggles right here. I think that's one of my favorite details about the interior. Visibility is great. You have your big squared off mirrors. Because it's a boxy vehicle, you're going to have large windows all the way around. Visibility out of the back is fantastic. You're going to have nice visibility up front. So I do have that confidence factor, and it makes it even better because I do have blind spot detection as well as the camera in the middle whenever I blink to the left or blink to the right. And speaking of cameras, you do also have a 360-degree camera at low speeds, which is great if you're parallel parking, you don't curb your wheels, or even if you just need a better view of how to park this big SUV into a parking space. Okay, so in comfort mode right now, I'm going to go ahead and switch it into sport mode and see how this does if you're trying to get up to speed. So foot all the way down now, very responsive, nice shifts, and it's plenty of power. Now getting onto the brakes, very good brake feel, surprisingly good brake feel for an SUV, which actually is something you would want in a big vehicle that can carry a lot of people. You want to make sure you have that consistent brake feel so you can stop the vehicle in a safe manner, and this definitely has that. Now, of course, you have your other modes like Eco, Snow, which will basically cut power as needed to get more fuel efficiency or to get you better traction in slippery conditions. And then, of course, you have your Smart mode, which will basically allow the computer to work out what it thinks needs to be done depending on the situation. Now, in terms of pricing and competition, pricing on this is very good. This trim level starts around $45,000, as is with the Nightfall package, with the towing package. This is going to be right around $52,000, which I still think is a good deal, especially considering the resale values on these are absolutely absurd right now. And you can also check that out on CarGurus.com. Now, in terms of competition, there are lots of competitors in this segment. You have the Honda Pilot, you have the Toyota Highlander, you have the brand new Jeep Grand Cherokee L, you're going to have the Dodge Durango, you have the new Nissan Pathfinder. You have so many vehicles that this competes against. And even though there are a lot of newcomers within that segment, I still think this is such a good offering and such a good value for what you're getting. And in terms of styling, it's all subjective, but this is still to this day a vehicle that turns my head when I see it driving on the road, especially with those amber daytime running lights. In terms of negatives with the driving experience, I mean, honestly, I really can't think of many. People may want more power. It doesn't need more power. It's plenty. People may want a slightly quieter ride, but as is, it's pretty darn close to perfect. So let's go ahead and talk about pros and cons with the Telluride. Now the negatives would be engine choices or lack thereof. I would like to see a cheaper, maybe Turbo 4 to make that low-end price a lot more attainable. I would love to see a hybrid or plug-in hybrid and maybe a more powerful engine option, maybe something like the Stinger engine as a Telluride GT. I think that would be cool to see. But other than that, I think the other negative would just be the Kia branding. A lot of people still aren't sold on Kia as a brand, but that doesn't really seem to be hurting the sales of the vehicle. I would easily say this is the best vehicle Kia has ever made. It's definitely the most well thought out. But let us know what you guys think. Comment below. If you're new to CarGurus, be sure to subscribe and visit us on cargurus.com. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next review.